Hey, what is up guys, it's Jay-Z here and welcome for another video on Godfall. Today I have another update on one of my most popular builds. We will be looking at my new bleed build for Bulwark. The last build I made for Bulwark was when the Lightbringer mode and the DLC expansion launched. Since then I have made many discoveries in the game, so today I will give you the new and improved version of it. So let's get right into it. If you are new to the game from Challenger Edition, you should all know the strongest legendary weapon in the game. This is the weapon which makes the whole bleed build so amazing. It is the Sword of Courage. The primary stat on this longsword is you will shoot projectiles whenever you inflict bleed, and it also comes with the ability to inflict ailments with your weapon techniques. This is by far the strongest weapon in this game for just the sheer amount of damage it can dish out. The version I used is a Sword of Dominance, which has the stats from the epic longsword Seath and the Sword of Courage. You can get these from the Ascended Tower trials only. The description on mine is different because I had gotten this weapon before the big ailment changes. For a secondary weapon, it's best if you want to keep a hammer on. This is because after you expose weak points, you can easily make the killing shot with your hammer, as they have the highest weapon tech damage in the game. Any hammer of your choice will do, but I recommend the Vasara so you can gain overhealth whenever you kill with your weapon technique. Other weapons that you can use are the Bramble, the Darkstar Crusher, or the Hectate's Inferno Hammer. For the charm, we are using the Meteor Star to get really fast weapon tech charge speed as well as applying the Mark of Fragility. For Challenger Edition players who don't have access to this item, you should just go for the Lion's Talisman, it is just as good. For the amulet, we are using the Earthbinder's Crest. This will give us crazy breach damage if our vitality stat is higher than any other attribute. For the secondary stats, add more breach damage if you can as well. Getting really high breach damage will allow you to easily take out those annoying shielded enemies, as well as be able to easily take out miss bosses like Tarax, who need to be breached before being able to do damage. Next, for the rings, we are going to be using the Dust Lord's Signet. This will expose weak points whenever we inflict an ailment. Then for the second ring, you can mix and match for whatever you like. If you want more survivability, you can add Mark of the Red Armorer, you can add Eye of the Dragon, or the Zoe's Embrace. If you want something fun to do since you have a great breach damage, you can go for Dawn Lord's Signet to get some cool bleed explosion effects whenever you perform takedowns. The ring that is best for this build is the Weird Ring. This will convert all your breach damage into extra damage to bosses. That's both mid bosses as well as final bosses as well. Since our breach damage will be really high, this is the best ring you can use to kill bosses even faster than before. For the Lifestone and the banner, we will keep it to the Archon's tier and the Mace's bandroll for added crit chance and crit damage. Other than the Mage's Star, Challenger Edition players should have access to all the other items. Now let's take a look at the augments. The main augment that I want to show off for this build is the Iron Band. This will give us more breach damage on enemies affected with bleed. And more breach damage means bosses will take more damage as well. This is the best augment for this build by far. For these secondary stats, get some overhealth gain and then either physical damage or add resistances if you want to survive more. Now let's take a look at the might augments. First we are using the Iron Heart. This will give us bonus crit chance but lower our rampage charge speed, which is really not a big deal. Then we are using the Twilight Bloom. This will give us the crazy weapon tech damage. Foreboding Reach is next, and this will give us bonus rampage damage for every might on adjacent augments. Make sure you place it in this position to make the most of it. The next might augment we have is the Charging Lion. This will give us 100% bonus weak point damage based on our rampage damage value. For our last might augment, we are using Focus to get overhealth whenever we hit a crit. On all your might augments, make sure to get an upgrade, weapon technique damage or weak point damage. For the Spirit augment, we are using Black Seed to give us shield charge and shield damage whenever we kill with our weapon technique, which will be mostly all the time. Scourge for the next augment to give us more shield charge. Make sure to add Might as your masterwork on this augment so you can make the most of Foreboding Reach. For the last augment, we have Warp, just so we can get out of sticky situations by applying stasis on all enemies around you. On all your spirit augments, make sure to try and get physical damage on both your secondary and masterwork traits. All your physical damage will increase the damage of your projectiles that you can spawn from your Sword of Courage, as well as just your general damage from all your attacks as well, so try and get as much of it as you can. Now let's go over the skills. There are a few things to point out. First, make sure to get Petrifying Slam and Shield Throws. The shield attacks will benefit from all the physical damage values as well, so your shields will also become stronger since you're going to spec highly into physical damage. Also, Bulwark's primary trait is to do physical damage and apply bleed whenever you use Petrifying Slam. Since you're inflicting bleed with your shields in a large radius, it means you will spawn multiple projectiles from all the enemies that you just inflicted bleed on. If you are using Mathos Star, your shield throws will also inflict bleed, therefore applying bleed to multiple enemies. Also, Petrifying Slam have a good amount of invincibility to them as well. Not as much as the Longsword's Northern technique, but still really good to sometimes get out of bad situations. Next, I want to talk about the level 5 weak point skill. Whenever you hit a weak point, you will unleash a shockwave behind the enemy. What's great about this is that when you hit an enemy's weak points with your weapon technique, those shockwaves will inflict bleed on any enemy it hits. And since you inflict bleed, you will spawn more projectiles from your sword. Best way to do this is to start your fight with either your Petrifying Slam or a parry to expose their weak points, and then hit them with your weapon technique. Also, level 3 on your weak point gives you bonus 50% breach damage, and level 3 on breach will give you bonus 25% breach damage. Since they all give bonus breach damage, it will also increase the damage on bosses as well, if you are using the weird ring. Here is a look at the essential powers that I used, as well as the stat sheet. That is basically it on the build, guys. It is definitely a lot stronger than my previous version. Most of the enemies will die almost instantly as you inflict bleed. If your physical damage is high enough like mine, your projectiles will do around 20k damage, and since you spawn 2 every time you inflict bleed, and your Northern technique hits at least 4 times, that means you'll be spawning 8 projectiles with a total of at least 160k damage just from the projectiles. The regular enemies will not even get past your second hit on your Northern techniques. Your hammers do the most breach damage, so they can kill everything so quickly as well. We don't have really fast overhealth gain, but since the enemies just die super quickly and projectiles that spawn kill almost everything around you, there really is no need to spec more into survivability. Also, one more thing is your Archon Fury. Since all your attacks do physical damage, and your attacks have a 65% chance to inflict bleed as well, you can just spam your light attacks and inflict bleed, and therefore spawning more projectiles everywhere. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button as it would help me out a ton. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button for cooler and more fun Godfall content. Comment down below what you all thought of this build as well, and what changes you guys are going to make to fit your playstyle. Also, you can come and join my Discord where you can come and find other players who can help you with anything, or just a fun place to hang around. I will see you all next time.